From the humble abacus, a simple tool for counting, to the complex artificial intelligence shaping our future. The evolution of the computer is a truly incredible story of human ingenuity. It's a tale filled with brilliant minds, revolutionary ideas, and technological leaps that have completely transformed our world. So, grab your curiosity and let's journey through time to see how we got from counting beads to creating artificial brains. Our journey begins not with silicon and electricity, but with beads, stones, and eventually, mechanical gears. For thousands of years, humanity relied on tools like the abacus, used across ancient civilizations from Mesopotamia to China to perform basic arithmetic. It was the original calculator, a testament to our early desire to compute and organize information. Fast forward a few millennia, and the gears of change really start to turn, literally. In the 17th century, thinkers like Blaise Pascal and Gottfried Leibniz built mechanical calculators. Pascal's Pascaline could add and subtract, while Leibniz's stepped reckoner could also multiply and divide. These were marvelous feats of engineering for their time, but they were limited, single-purpose machines. The real conceptual breakthrough was yet to come. Entered the 19th century, a time of industrial revolution and bold new thinking. In London, a visionary mathematician named Charles Babbage grew frustrated with the human errors in mathematical tables. He dreamed of a machine that could calculate flawlessly. First, he designed the difference engine, a massive mechanical calculator designed to tabulate polynomial functions. He even built a small working portion of it. But his ambition didn't stop there. Babbage then conceived of something far more radical, the analytical engine. This wasn't just a calculator, it was a general-purpose programmable computer. It had a mill for processing, what we'd call a CPU, and a store for memory. It could be given instructions using punched cards, an idea borrowed from the Jacquard loom, which used them to weave complex patterns. The analytical engine was the blueprint for every modern computer. Working alongside Babbage was the remarkable Ada Lovelace, a gifted mathematician and the daughter of the poet Lord Byron. She wasn't just Babbage's collaborator. She was his intellectual peer. Lovelace understood the potential of the analytical engine better than anyone, even Babbage himself. She recognized that the machine could manipulate not just numbers, but any symbol, like musical notes or letters. In her notes on the engine, she wrote what is now considered the world's first computer program, an algorithm to compute Bernoulli numbers. For this, she is rightly celebrated as the first computer programmer. Sadly, due to a lack of funding and the immense technical challenges of the era, the analytical engine was never fully built in their lifetime. Our ideas were simply a century ahead of their time. The dawn of the 20th century brought the power of electricity into the equation, and this is where we mark the first generation of computers. The catalyst was World War II. The need for complex calculations, from code breaking to artillery firing tables, spurred massive investment. At Bletchley Park in the UK, Alan Turing and his team developed the Colossus, an electronic machine used to decipher encrypted German messages, playing a crucial role in the Allied victory. Meanwhile, in the United States, ENIAC, the Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, was unveiled in 1946. This was the first general-purpose electronic digital computer. It was a monster, filling an entire room, weighing 30 tons, and using over 17,000 vacuum tubes. These tubes acted as switches, but they were unreliable, generated immense heat, and burned out constantly. Programming ENIAC was a nightmare, involving physically rewiring plugs and switches for each new problem. But despite its flaws, it was a quantum leap, capable of calculations thousands of times faster than any human. The second generation arrived in the late 1950s with a game-changing invention, the transistor. Invented at Bell Labs, the transistor replaced the bulky, inefficient vacuum tube. It was smaller, faster, more reliable, and consumed far less power. Computers like the IBM 790 and the DEC-PDP-1 became the workhorses of universities, governments, and large corporations. They were still massive by today's standards, but they were a huge improvement. During this era, we also saw the birth of high-level programming languages like Fortran for scientists and COBOL for business, making it easier to tell computers what to do without having to speak in raw ones and zeros. Then came the third generation in the mid-1960s, sparked by the invention of the integrated circuit or the microchip. This tiny piece of silicon could hold dozens, then hundreds, of transistors. This miniaturization was revolutionary. Computers became smaller, cheaper, and even more powerful. The IBM System 360 was a landmark machine of this era, offering a family of computers with different performance levels but compatible software. For the first time, a company could upgrade its hardware without having to rewrite all its programs. This era also saw the development of the computer mouse and graphical user interfaces at Xerox PARC, ideas that would later be popularized by Apple and Microsoft. And crucially, the seeds of the internet were sown with the creation of ARPANET, a U.S. military project to create a decentralized communication network. The fourth generation began in the 1970s with the invention of the microprocessor. Engineers at Intel managed to cram all the components of a computer's central processing unit onto a single chip. This was the breakthrough that brought computing to the masses. The first personal computers, or PCs, started to appear. Like the Altair 8800, which inspired two young enthusiasts named Bill Gates and Paul Allen to start a company called Microsoft. Then, in 1977, the Apple II, created by Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, arrived as a fully assembled user-friendly computer, helping to launch the home computer revolution. The IBM PC followed in 1981, and with Microsoft's MS-DOS operating system. It set the standard for personal computing for decades. The world was suddenly being filled with computers on office desks and in homes. This brings us to where we are today, in the fifth generation, an era defined by artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the interconnected web of the Internet of Things. The raw processing power predicted by Moore's law, the observation that the number of transistors on a chip doubles roughly every 2 years, has led to devices of unimaginable capability. Our smartphones are millions of times more powerful than the computers that guided the Apollo missions to the moon. The Internet has connected billions of people, creating a global village of information and communication. Artificial intelligence, once a concept of science fiction, is now a part of our daily lives. From a simple Google search to sophisticated digital assistants and complex algorithms that can diagnose diseases or compose music, we're no longer just telling computers what to do. We're building systems that can learn, adapt, and make decisions on their own. But the story doesn't end here. We're standing on the precipice of another great leap. On the horizon, quantum computers promise to redefine the very limits of computation. Unlike classical computers that store information as bits, either a 0 or a 1, quantum computers use qubits. Thanks to the strange principles of quantum mechanics like superposition and entanglement, a qubit can be a 0, a 1, or both at the same time. This allows quantum computers to process a vast number of possibilities simultaneously. They won't replace your laptop for browsing the web, but for solving certain types of incredibly complex problems, like developing new medicines, creating new materials, or breaking modern encryption, they could be revolutionary. From the Abacus to the analytical engine, from the ENIAC to the iPhone, from the first algorithm to advanced neural networks, the history of the computer is a powerful reminder of our relentless drive to innovate. To solve problems and to understand our world, the evolution continues, at a pace faster than ever before, constantly reshaping our world in ways Babbage and Lovelace could only have dreamed. What will the next chapter hold? We can only imagine, but one thing is certain. It's going to be extraordinary. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through time. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of computing, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Story Delight, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next adventure. See you in the next one.